बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू। Welcome to my online class today. I am Anwar Al Saad Mullah, Instructor Non-Tech, Rangpur Polytechnic Institute. In the last class, we have discussed article. Today, our topic is right form of verbs. Right form of verbs. Right form of verbs is an important topic in English grammar. You have had a great knowledge on right form of verbs, but sometimes you forgot it. So I will share with you the very topic right form of verbs. The verbs are the most variable elements of the sentences. Verbs are the most variable elements of sentences. Variable means different. Variable means different use, different moods of verb. They vary from time to time. The right form of verbs encompasses of the grammatical rules of English language. In all the languages, you will find the use of right form of verbs. Right form of verbs, most grammatical rules. In the most grammatical rules, you will find the use of right form of verbs. If you want to write the form of a verb, you have to know most of the grammatical rules of English language. Most of the elements of a sentence are related to the verb. Very much related to the verb. The verbs appear differently in a sentence on the basis of their subject. The verbs appear differently in a sentence in many ways. What is the basis of this? The basis of their subject. That means subject verb agreement. Most of the time, we have to find out the uses of verb on the basis of their subjects. That means subject verb agreement. Sometimes we uses it in the tenses. In different tenses, there are different moods of the verb. There are various form of verb in various tenses. According to the rules, we have to use the different verbs in different forms. Moods, voices. In the voices, we have many types of verbs. In the different structure, you will have to use different form of verbs. Different structures, different verbs. In the modals, when you use the modals, we have to use different kinds of verbs. There are 4 rules for verbs. I have divided into 4 rules. The verbs appear differently in a sentence in many ways. 4 rules for verbs. We can see it now. Rule 1, subject verb agreement. Subject verb agreement. Here we have to use the verb according to the subject. We have to use the verb according to the subject here. Subject verb agreement. In the rule of subject verb agreement, you have to mind it that according to subject, you have to use the verb. According to the subject, that means first person, second person, third person, that means singular or plural, etc. Grammatically, agreement means the form of the verb matches the person and the number of the subject, matches the person with the number of the subject in the sentences. The particular rules given below, we will find the rules of subject verb agreement. We will discuss later on. You must mind it when you are using appropriate verbs in terms of the subject. You must remember what is the subject's person or what is the number of the subject, singular or plural, first person, second person or third person. You have to mind it when you use verb according to the subject. In the subject verb agreement, you have to mind it. Rule 2, I have divided in in this part. You will find various types of tenses where we use different types of verb according to the rules of the tense. The variability of the verbs mostly depends on different tenses of the sentence. They are various, they become variable according to the tenses. A form of verbs depends on the time the action have been performed. The form of a verb depends on the time when the actions have been taken or actions have been performed. You have to see the structure of tenses, present, past and future tenses to have a good idea. I know you have all good idea about it. Now, rule 3, structures and clauses. Structures and clauses. The verbs are also related to the structure of different sentences and clauses. What is a clause? You have to mind it. You have to remind it that what is clause, what it contains. A clause has only one verb. You have to mind. You have to remember that a clause has only one verb. In a clause, you will get only one main verb. In fact, a clause cannot contain more than one finite verb, that means main verb, but can have participles without auxiliaries, infinitives and gerunds. There may have many verbs, there may have one more, two more, three more verbs beside finite verb in a clause. The verbs may be auxiliaries, without auxiliaries, infinitives and gerunds. If a verb without auxiliaries, it may be participles, infinitives or gerund. Here is some examples. I wanted. Here wanted is the main verb, to go. Here another verb, wanted is the main verb and another verb, go. Here go is infinitive. Go is infinitive. So, in a clause, this is a clause. I wanted to go to the wedding. If it is the clause, there may have more verb. Here wanted, go, but infinitive verb wanted and go, infinitive verb wanted, finite verb wanted and infinitive verb to go. In another example, you see swimming is a good exercise. Be verb is the main verb here and swimming is a gerund. Swimming is also a verb and it is in the form of gerund. So, there may be more verb in a sentence, but only one main verb and others will be participle, infinitives, gerund, etc. Swimming is a good exercise to keep your body fit and healthy. Look at the sentence. Swimming is a verb where swimming is a subject in the form of gerund. Is the main verb in the form of is be verb. A good exercise to keep. Keep is also a verb. Here keep is a infinitive verb. You will get three verbs in this sentence, but only one is the main verb and the other verbs are auxiliaries, infinitives, gerunds, participle, etc. Here gerund is participle, to keep, infinitive. The four rules is clauses can be connected by conjunctions. Here we will discuss about conditionals, if conditionals. Shankabe, it is conditionals. Clauses can be connected by conjunctions and connectors. The clauses may be connected with conjunctions or connectors. Some connectors take some specific form of verbs. So, we have to mind what connectors, what conjunction take what types of verb. Some connectors take some specific form of verbs. If conditional is such kind of connectors or conjunction. It takes different types of verb when you use it. It has some different sentence structures. When we see the conditionals, rules of conditionals, we will find different types of uses of verb in if conditionals or if connectors. Now, what types of verb are used in English grammar in right form of verbs? There is short form of it. There are 6 forms of for is verb. You know, there are 6 forms of is verb. If you analyze the verb, you will get 6 forms of verb. Base or present form, base or present form. If you discuss a sentence, if you analyze a sentence, you will get a base form. You may get a base form, first form, the first form of the base form, then the first participle form, present participle form, gerund, infinitive. In this form, in this 6th form, we will use the verbs. That means a verb may have base form or present form, past participle form, present participle form, gerund, infinitive, etc. Any subject, mostly noun or pronoun. Any subject, mostly noun or pronoun in a sentence takes the necessary form of the verb based on tense. What is the basis of using verb? Tense, mood, number, voice, narration, etc. On the basis of tense, on the basis of mood, on the basis of number, voice, narration, the mood of the verb, the form of the verb must be changed. They changes their form on the basis of tense, mood, number, voice, narration, etc. You find it at a glance. Past form, past participle form, infinitive, gerund, present participle, base or root form, base or root form, different forms of verb. In this way, you will get the verb. You have to use in this way the verb. Base form, past form, present participle, past participle, perfect participle, infinitive, gerund, etc. You have to note, you have to mind it, participles without auxiliaries. In a sentence, you will get more verb beside finite verb. You will get participles, and you have to mind what is participle without auxiliaries. When you get a verb without auxiliaries, it may participles, infinitives, or gerund. This type of verb do not work as the verb in a sentence. Do not work as the main verb in a sentence. They are not main verbs, but they are in the form of participle, infinitive, gerund, etc. Gerunds work as noun. Gerunds work as nouns, but participle and infinitive works as subjective or adverb. Gerund work as a noun in a sentence, participles and infinitives. Participle and infinitive work as adjectives and adverbs in a sentence. Now, what is present participle form of a verb? The present form of a verb is formed with an ing. Present participle form is formed or made with an ing after the base form. If you have base form go, you have to add ing with the go, and that will use as present participle going. Besides continuous verb, it is also used as adjective in a sentence. That means participle form in a sentence is an adjective, or sometimes it is also used as adverb. For example, going, teaching, imagining, liking, cutting, etc. In a sentence, you will get I saw the boy. I saw the boy is the main sentence. Saw here main verb, that means finite verb. I saw the boy doing his homework. Here doing is also a verb. Do adding with ing is also a verb. Here doing is not a main verb, it is a participle. It is a participle. Gerund. Now, what is gerund? How is it used in a sentence? Like present participle. Like present participle means verb plus ing. Like present participle, gerund is also verb plus ing. There is ing with the verb in a gerund and in a participle. But what is the difference between gerund and participle? Here you get. A gerund is also a form of verb that is formed with ing as a suffix with the base verb. But the difference between a gerund and the present participle is in terms of the role in a sentence. What role they play in a sentence, you will get the difference. Gerund act as a noun in a sentence. Mind it. Gerund act as a noun in a sentence, but present participle act as a adjective. Gerund is used as a noun, but present participle is used as a adjective in a sentence. Example, going, teaching. In a sentence, we will get going to office every day is boring. Going to office every day is boring. Here going incident, going to office every day is boarding, is boarding. Here boarding is a participle, is a participle. Here boarding is used as an adjective, as an adjective. And going to office every day is the subject of the sentence. So, going here is used as noun, and boarding is an adjective. So, the difference between going and boarding, going is noun used as subject in the sentence, and boarding here is an adjective used here as adjective. Now, infinitive. The infinitive form of a verb is in the dictionary or base form of a verb preceded by to. In the base form, if you get to before it, we have to find it that it is an infinitive. Most infinitives are to before the base form. Most infinitives, in the most of the time you will get to before the base form in the form of infinitive. Sometimes to is omitted or dropped. Sometimes you will not get to before the verb, infinitive verb. Then we will call it bare infinitives, bare infinitives. That means without to. In most cases, when infinitives follow any modal verb like can, may, should, would, etc., they are called the bare infinitive. So, infinitive is also the form of a verb with to, Most of the time you will get to before the base form, and that will be infinitive. Some of the cases, sometimes you will get without to. It will be described as bare infinitive. So, to plus verb is the infinitive. So, to plus verb is the form of infinitive. Remember, an infinitive cannot be a main or finite verb. What I have said before, this is the repetition of the word. An infinitive cannot be a main or finite verb in a sentence. It only can be used as a non-finite verb, an adjective or an adverb. That means, infinitive can be used in a sentence as an adjective, an adverb or non-finite verb. I want to go home now. Here, to go is infinitive, but want is the main verb, base form of the verb. In this sentence, I want to go home now. In this sentence, I is the subject, want is the main verb, to go is also a verb, not main verb, but it is infinitive. In the second example, give him a dish to wash. Here, give is the main verb in the imperative form. Give him a dish to wash. Here, wash is also a verb, but in the form of infinitive. Here, infinitive adjective. Example 3 you will get in the same way. Look at the examples. He will do this to set an example. You should go home now. Here, go is the base form, bare infinitive, bare infinitive. Now, we will discuss some important rules of right form of verbs. When you have to attend the exam, you have to answer the questions right form of verbs. Now, we will discuss the rules of right form of verbs. Here are some important rules. Rule number 1. Rule number 1. In the first rule, we have to mind the main word or the indicator word. Indicator words. There will be some indicator in the sentence. Here the indicators are often, regularly, usually, sometimes, always, very often, generally, ordinarily, normally, daily, occasionally, every day, universal truth, etc. If you get in a sentence often, regularly, ordinarily, generally, always, often, daily, occasionally, normally, every day, you have to make it a present indefinite tense. If the sentence is universal truth, the sentence will always be an present indefinite tense. Always be a present indefinite tense if there is some universal truth in the sentence. Without any mention of time in a sentence, otherwise there will be no mentioning of time in the sentence will be present indefinite tense. Now, the examples are: the boy go to school regularly. Here in the bracket, go, you have to make it correct, or you have to write the right form of verbs. Here regularly is the indicator in the sentence, regularly, so it will be present indefinite tense. The boy goes to school regularly. Goes, you have to add es with go, because the subject, in the subject verb agreement, we know that if the subject is third person singular number, you have to add es in the present indefinite tense. Es or es with the verb in the present indefinite tense. So, here the boy goes to school regularly. The boy does not go to school daily. Here daily is also the indicator, and you have to correct the verb go, as it is negative, does not go to school regularly. My uncle visits sea beach regularly. Here regularly is also the indicator. People always like the good persons, always is the indicator. So, like is the present indefinite form. We get like in the present indefinite. The earth moves round the sun. Here the earth moves round the sun is the universal truth sentence. So, this sentence is in present indefinite. The earth moves round the sun. In the same way, we will get more examples here. If a sentence expresses universal truth, what I have earlier said, and habitual fact, if the sentence is a habitual fact, you have to use it as a present indefinite tense. Obviously, if the subject is third person singular number, the verb needs s or es with it as a suffix. If the sentence is universal truth or habitual fact, you have to use present indefinite tense in the sentence. The sentence will be in present indefinite tense. And if the subject is third person singular number, then you have to use at, as or es as suffix with the verb. For example, the sun rise in the east, which is a universal truth sentence. So, rise will be present indefinite tense. The action of the verb will be present indefinite tense. The sun rises in the east. Every morning, every morning, every morning. Here, every morning is a habitual fact. Every morning, the mother My mother recite the Holy Quran every morning. That means every morning is a habitual fact. So, if it is habitual fact, we have to use present indefinite tense in the sentence. Here my mother recites the Holy Quran every day. So, recites in the present indefinite. The sun gives us light. In the same way, the sun sets in the west. Light removes darkness. Habitual fact. Everybody fears death. Illness spreads fast. The earth moves around the sun. Now, if a sentence if any work is continuing at present, now the continuous tense, if any work is continuing at present, that means now the action is continuing now, then the verb becomes present continuous. There will be some indicator word in the sentence like gradually, day by day, now, at present, at this moment, continually, perpetually, at the moment, right now, this season, this year, forever, etc. are usually the signs of a verb to take the present progressive tense, means present continuous tense. If you get the word, the mentioned word gradually, day by day, now, at present, at moment, continually, perpetually, at this moment, right now, etc., you have to make it a present continuous tense or present progressive tense. The structure may be subject, am, is, are, plus verb, plus ing, etc. He write the answer now. Here, now is the indicator word. If you get now, we have to make it present continuous tense. So, we have to know the structure of present continuous tense. Subject, am, is, are, plus verb, plus ing. He is writing the answer now. As now, he is writing the answer now. As there is now, we have to make it continuous. Auxiliary verb is verb plus ing, writing. He is writing the answer now. He is singing a song now. In the same way, he is reciting a poem now. They are watching television at this moment. Here at this moment is the indicator. Here at this moment is the indicator. I am driving at this moment. He is going to school at this moment. So, if you get the indicator, you have to make it present continuous tense. Now, the third rule, rule number 3, if you get a sentence with just now, already, yet, ever, lately, recently, then the sentence will be present perfect tense. The sentence will be present perfect tense. When you use present perfect tense, if you get in the sentence just now, already, yet, ever, lately, recently, such kind of indicators. If you get this indicator, you will have to make it present perfect tense. For example, I have visited my village home recently. Recently is the indicator. So, you have to make it present perfect tense. Subject, has, and in the past participle for verb. Verb in the past participle form. I have visited my village home recently. In this way, he has just left the office. I have not taken my breakfast yet. Here, yet is the indicator. So, we have to make it present perfect tense. I have not taken my meal. His father has died recently. Already I dash, that means in the bracket, finish the work. already is the indicator, so you have to make it present perfect tense. Already I have finished the work. He go out just now. Just now is the indicator, so you have to make it present perfect tense. In the same way, the last two. So, when it will be present perfect tense? When just now, already, yet, even, lately, recently, already, you will get the sentence, in the sentence the word, the indicator word, then you have to make it present perfect tense. If in present any action continues for a time being or from particular time, it is called present perfect continuous tense. Now, present perfect continuous tense. When it will be the present perfect continuous tense? If a work continuing for a particular time or for a time being, then it will be present perfect continuous tense. In this sentence, in the tense, you will get for or since according to the situation of the tense. If it point of time, it will be since. If it is period of time, you have to use it as for. So, in the present perfect continuous tense, you may got for or since with some time after for or since. You will get some time after for or since. If you get after for and since sometimes, then you may use present perfect continuous tense. Look at the examples. Reza in the bracket read the book for 2 hours. For 2 hours. Here for 2 hours is the period of time. You get period of time. So, it will be present perfect continuous tense. Reza has been reading the book for 2 hours. In the same way, I studied in the bracket in this college for 3 years. Here 3 years is a period of time with for. When you get sometimes with for, it may be present perfect continuous tense. So, the sentence will be present perfect continuous tense. I have been studying in this college for 3 years. They to play since 7 o'clock. Now, what will be the answer of the sentence? They to play since 7 o'clock. I say that if you get since with some time, then it will be present perfect continuous tense. Here since is used what time? Is it period of time or particular time? Particular time. They have been playing since 7 o'clock. So, the sentence, the right answer, the correct form of the verb will be they have been playing since 7 o'clock. They have been playing for since 7 o'clock, point of time. 7 o'clock is the point of time, the last, the particular time. So, it will be present perfect continuous tense. If a sentence contains the words indicating past time, in the number 5, you will get past indefinite tense. So, if a word like yesterday, ago, long since, last night, last year, if you get this word, the sentence will be past indefinite. Then the verb will be in the past form. If you get the word, the indicator word in a sentence, then the verb will be past form. That means past indefinite tense. We know the structure of past indefinite tense: subject plus past form of verb plus object. So, if you use past form of verb, it will be past indefinite tense. If you get yesterday, ago, long since, last night, last year, then you have to use past form of verb. He bought a fan yesterday. Here yesterday is the indicator word of past tense, past indefinite. So, we make it past indefinite. He buy a pen yesterday. The correct form of verb will be he bought a pen yesterday. I went to my village home last week. Last week is the indicator word. Long since is the indicator word. Yesterday, last night. So, all the sentence is corrected as past indefinite tense. The police arrested the criminal last night. Here arrested is the past form of arrest and it is now past indefinite tense, because last night is the indicator word of past indefinite tense. Look at the examples carefully. Now, the connector since has two S's. When we say we use since, we get two S's of the word in the present perfect tense and in the past indefinite tense. So, there are two S's of since. If since is used to indicate a cause, here is the another example, indicate a cause. The verbs of the two clauses will be of the same tense. If since is used as cause, the verb will be the same tense. Now, look at the example. I didn't go is one sentence, I didn't go is a sentence, and another sentence with since is the connector. When since is connector, connector since is the connector of two sentences. If the connectors is show, if the connector shows the meaning cause, the verb will be same. I didn't go since you didn't come. Past indefinite, past indefinite. As since is the meaning of cause. Since you were busy, since means as or because you were busy, as because, then the verb will be same. Here where past form, you have to use the past form here. I didn't disturb you. Since you were busy, I didn't disturb you. If since is used to indicate time, if it indicate time, the verb of the second clause will be different from the first. If since indicate time, the verb will be different from first sentence. Now, if since is the indicator, meaning that not if a sentence with since in the first clause is present indefinite tense, present perfect tense, the second clause will be past indefinite tense. Mind it carefully. If a sentence with since, when since not because, since just the indicator, then there will be different uses of verb here. If a sentence with since in the first clause is present indefinite tense or present perfect tense, the second clause will be past indefinite tense. If a sentence with since in the first clause is past indefinite tense, the second clause will be if a sentence with since in the first clause is past tense, the second clause will be past perfect tense. If past tense, then past perfect tense. If present indefinite or present perfect, then it is past indefinite tense. We haven't seen present perfect tense. So, the sentence with since will be past indefinite. It has been 20 years since he played football. If it is present perfect, it may be past indefinite. If it is past, if the first tense is past form, in the past form, the last tense after the sentence, after since, that will be past perfect. 20 years past indefinite. So, the sentence with since will be past perfect. Here you see, we had met, it is past perfect tense. I couldn't sleep while for a single night since you had left me. Since you had. Before since we get past indefinite. So, the after since the sentence will be past perfect. You had left me. Many years have passed. If it is present perfect or present indefinite, the last one will be past indefinite. Since I visited India, I wanted a drink. Past indefinite. So, the last one would be past perfect. She had another, but she had another, in this way. A sentence containing before or after. Now, before and after in the past perfect tense. In the past perfect tense, you will get before and after. Before past perfect tense, after past perfect tense. Past perfect tense before, past perfect indefinite. Before past perfect tense, before past perfect tense. If you use before, you have to use past perfect tense first, and after before, you have to use past indefinite tense. If you use after, you have to use the past perfect tense after the word after, and past indefinite tense before the word after. The teacher had started the class before I came. Before is the connector here in the past perfect tense. If you use before, you have to use the past perfect tense at first sentence, and after before you have to use past indefinite tense. The teacher had started the class, which is past perfect tense, and before is the indicator or connector. I came, past indefinite tense. The teacher started the class after I had come. So, after and before. If you use before, you have to use the past perfect tense in the first sentence, and if you use after, you have to use past perfect tense after. Here is the rate structure, you have to mind it. The next one, the rate one is the rules. Past indefinite plus after plus past perfect. Past perfect plus before plus past indefinite. In this way, you have to correct the verb with after and before. No sooner had, hardly had, scarcely had is also the indicator of past perfect tense. With this word, the sentence will be past perfect and the another sentence will be past indefinite. No sooner had I reached home is the past perfect than she left in the past indefinite. Scarcely had, past perfect tense, when the man died. Man died is the past indefinite. The same way, hardly had is the past perfect tense. Hardly had I finished working before the teacher ordered to stop writing. In the same way, no sooner had, hardly had, scarcely had will be the past perfect tense and the another sentence will be past indefinite tense. No sooner had, hardly had, scarcely had will be past perfect tense and the another sentence will be past indefinite tense. Some indicators like soon, tomorrow, next month, coming year, etc. shows future indefinite tense. Shows future indefinite tense. Soon, tomorrow, next, coming year, etc. I go to France next year. That means next year is the indicator of future. So, I will go to France next year. I come to college tomorrow. I will come to tomorrow. He will come to tomorrow. I shall leave for Dhaka tomorrow. Tomorrow is the indicator. Next week is the indicator. We shall visit the show next week. Our final exam will begin tomorrow. Tomorrow is the indicator of future indefinite tense. So, if you get shortly, soon, tomorrow, next month, coming year, etc., you have to make it future indefinite tense. Now, if you get by this time, by morning, by sun, Sunday, etc., with by, we have to make it future perfect tense. They will have reached by this time, by Monday next, by June 2017. In this way, if you get by and some time indicator, then we have to make it future perfect tense. They will have reached by this time. He will have returned by Monday next. I will have finished the book by June 2017. If you get H, achieve, wish as indicated in a sentence, after this word, though, as if, wish, you have to make the be verb into where. If you get be verb in the bracket with the indicator if, as if, I wish, as though, etc., you have to make the be where. I wish I be a king. Here be is converted into where. She talks as if she were a maid. You have to make the be into where. He speaks as though he be president. Here you have to make the be where, because you get achieve, as though, I wish in the sentence. The indicators, as the indicators. If the first part of achieve, as though, present indefinite, if as though, as if is the connector of two sentences, mind it, and the first sentence is present indefinite, then the next part will be past indefinite. He speaks, present indefinite, as though is the connector or conjunction. He knew everything. past form. But if the first part is past indefinite, if the first part is past indefinite, she behaved, past indefinite. If the first part is past indefinite, she behaved. Here in the sentence, in the example, she behaved, past indefinite. Then the next part will be past perfect. You have to mind it. The next part will be past perfect. He had done, learned, she had learned any manner. She behaved as though she hadn't learned any manner. Now look at the sentence. I slept, past indefinite, past perfect. If I had been dead. He behaves, past present indefinite, so only past form, where. Note it that either or neither are singular if they are not used with or nor. We will discuss it later on. If you get the conjunction list in a sentence, if you get conjunction list in a sentence and after list you have to use should, the modal should in the sentence. If you get conjunction list in a sentence, you have to use should after list as the modal verb in the sentence. Run faster, lest you should miss the train. Lest is the conjunction, so you have to use should after the subject. He will work hard, lest, after lest you have to use should in the next part. He worked hard, he worked hard. What may be the first part? What may be the tense of the first part? Not matter, but we have to use should. We have to always use should after lest. Lest he should get fired. He worked hard, lest he should get fired. He will work hard. Future indefinite, past indefinite. So, if the first part may be different, but after lest you have to use should in the sentence. To be, being, having, getting are generally followed by past participle form. The indicator word to be, being, having, getting, etc. followed by past participle. Being tired, tired is the past participle form. Having eaten, in the next example, John went to bazaar having eaten. Having, getting, being, to be, etc. will be followed by past participle form in the verb, and the past participle form indicates adjective in the sentence, used as adjective in the sentence. If you get had better, had rather, would rather, let, must, need, dare, then the verb will be the present form. Had better, had rather, would rather, must, let. If you get the indicators, the verb will be present form. The verb will be present form. You had better leave the class. You get had better. So, the verb will be present form. Leave the class. Leave is the present form. I don't let. Let, if you get let, you have to use present form. You need, then you use present form. Would rather, follow. After would rather, you have to use present form, follow here. We would rather follow the direction of our teacher. I had better now go. I will not let you enter, in this way. So, if you have any question, you must write in the comment box and I will solve it in the next class. So, Dear student, you have to read in your home and you have to find out some problems, then you will get solution. If you have any problem, you write in the inbox and I will solve it later on. Thank you for stay with me. Thank you for listening me. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.